Have you ever heard of slot car racing? Well, just a few decades ago, every boy was hoping to find a set under the Christmas tree on Christmas morning. Years later, the hobby has regained popularity. News 10's chief photojournalist Mike Latta found a local group of guys that go racing every week.
It's Wednesday night at Smith's Small Engines in Terre Haute. The store is closed for business, but there's lots of activity.
Go!
It's race night.
Otter Creek Slot Car Racing Club, OCSRA, has a series of 8 different tracks. All of them are hand-built. We have 4 in Terre Haute, we have 4 in Linton.
Back in the 60s, slot car racing was huge. In fact, a survey from 1968 showed that there were more slot racing tracks than bowling alleys.
Well, I did it back in the 60s and 70s for a few years, and I got away from the sport because it kind of died.
I thought the hobby had died, and about 4 years ago, my good friend Doug that lives in Linton called me up. He said, "I just built a slot car track." I said, "There is no way that hobby died." He said, "Well, it's alive in my garage." So I went to his house, and as I pulled in the driveway, I could hear the scream of these little electric motors, and instantly, I was 15 years old again.
40 years later, slot car racing is making a comeback.
Get ready.
New technology like computerized timing makes the race faster and more efficient than back in the old days. But the thrill of victory has stayed the same. It earns these racers something more important than cash or prizes.
We don't race for trophies, we don't race for money, it's bragging rights. You can be a hero this week and a zero next week.
Win or lose, everyone at the track agrees that slot car racing can be an addiction.
Just like anything else, someone says, "Let me try it," and pretty soon you're literally hooked with it. It can be a little bit addictive. I know of one guy that his wife made a deal with him. If for every week he went without cigarettes, he could buy a slot car. So I suppose there's all different forms of motivation.
If you're wondering how expensive this hobby is, the group says the cost varies from starting at $100 to...
Don't tell my wife.
From the racers that remember the old days,
It's like being 12 years old again with a very good allowance.
to the younger crowd.
We just come out here and have a good night.
They all agree the hobby has brought them together, but the friendship keeps them coming back.
To me, it's a great hobby with a great bunch of guys, and that's the other part of the equation that really makes it a lot of fun.
Just being with these guys is a ton of fun, and what's interesting is that we're all the same age. We range in age from 11 years old to 71 years old. But when we walk through the door, we're all the same age.
In Terre Haute, Mike Latta, News 10.
Great fun. For more information on the Otter Creek Slot Car Racing Association, you can go to our website, WTHI-TV.com.